trying to get the old gang back together again.
We haven't done this in a long time.
It's time to meet the Muppets.
Come on, guys, let's go!
Hello, welcome to What the Flick, to our dazzling, shiny new studios. We're like an actual television show now. I'm Christy Lemire. These are my backup dancers, Alonso Duralde and Ben Mankiewicz. We're talking about the Muppets for our first movie today. And Ben, being a child at heart, wants to describe the Muppets to us.
Yeah, you know, guys, I was not a big Muppets fan growing up. I didn't like cartoons, and I didn't like puppets.
I'm shocked. You're not allowed to have a conversation with us.
Because they weren't sports, right? Is
They weren't sports, yeah. They were totally gay. But I know something of them, so it didn't resonate completely. I'm not like, oh my God, I can't believe there's father, whatever. I had to actually learn. But I don't think it makes any difference, to be totally honest. The movie, the story, not that it matters a great deal, but Walter is a Muppet. He's Jason Segel's brother, obviously.
Of course.
Sure, why not?
Right, exactly. Fraternal, I think, but not identical. No, he's just his brother. They live in a small town, literally a small town, and Amy Adams is his fiance, Jason Segel's. And on a trip to Los Angeles, they learned that the famed Muppets Theater is in danger of being taken over and razed by Chris Cooper's character, who will, of course, because there's oil underneath it. And this is devastating news to Walter, who is the biggest Muppets fan in the world. And he's sort of been unable to connect with people other than his family, but he loves the Muppets. And thereby we begin the process of perhaps getting the band back together to save the theater.
I can't believe we're all back together.
Yeah!
Sorry, I was super excited.
This Thanksgiving, there's no movie like a Muppet movie. Jason Segel, Amy Adams, Kermit the Frog, and Miss Piggy.
Ow, that hurt!
The Muppets.
There's not a lot to complain about here.
It's adorable.
No, it totally works.
And every time that Jason Segel or Amy Adams broke the fourth wall, talked to the audience, which is occasionally risky, I just thought it was a huge success.
Well, it's so earnest, but it plays with the fact that it's earnest. It sort of makes fun of itself in a very affectionate way.
They're totally straight, Amy Adams and Jason Segel.
Right, and like the production numbers, like they're going for it. And yes, they're cutesy, but they're not ironic. Like they're serious about these big splashy production numbers.
Well, the Muppets have always kind of juggled that sort of thing where, on the one hand, they're very sort of sweet and have these kind of messages of uplift or whatever and believing in yourself. But at the same time, they're perfectly willing to like look at the camera, to acknowledge that they're in a movie or that they're telling a story or that whatever's going on around them.
That their pun is bad, that they just made it.
Yeah,
or whatever,
exactly. And so I think this movie just keeps it going basically and doesn't try to change the Muppet formula. It just sort of maybe shows that it still works.
Right. But it's just so easy for that to be hacky.
Well, sure.
But I just thought here is like, this is now the template for how to do it.
Well, let me ask you this. If this didn't already exist, right? If this were a new entity with this movie and they were doing all the potentially hacky stuff, would it seem hacky, or do we accept it because it already exists and is nostalgic for us?
No. This is why I said what I said at the
That's
beginning.
why it worked.
I'm perfect.
Right. It worked for you.
The Muppets mean
Okay.
nothing to me.
And this movie's still
very funny. Totally, yeah. It meant, in fact, I don't know whether that perhaps it even made it more enjoyable for me. I wasn't expecting this routine that they do.
Right.
I knew some of the stuff I guess was familiar, but it never had I can't believe you didn't do the Muppet Man. None of that mattered.
No, I'm the opposite because I loved the Muppets. Like I wanted to be Miss Piggy when I was a little girl, which I'm sure you're shocked to learn. I had the lunchbox and the tennis shoes and everything. So I was psyched when they actually do the Muppet Show open.
Yeah,
beat for
that
beat.
was great.
It gave me chills. Like I loved that show so much as a little girl. Like it was such appointment viewing.
Yes.
We didn't have DVRs back then. So for me, I'm the opposite of you. Like I'm the target audience. Like it's a childhood thing for me. I'm guessing it was for you as well.
Totally, yes. I was immersed in that. Like I was a big Sesame Street watcher as a tiny tot, and then I was 9 when the Muppet Show went on the air. So yeah, just the show, the original trilogy, as the nerds like to say. I'm a lifelong Muppets fan, and this pushed all of the right buttons for me. There was concern about, Frank Oz didn't like one of the early scripts.
I was going to ask about that. Is it weird that he's not part of it?
I think whatever his issues are his issues, but ultimately, I think if you're a Muppet fan, you're not going to feel betrayed by this. I think this was made with a lot of love for what the Muppets have always been.
And Jason Segel is apparently, as I've seen the promotional, and from what I know of him, he is a serious Muppets fan.
Clearly,
yes,
very reverent.
And took this on in part because he wanted to do this and do it right. So there was no danger that he was going to sort of subvert the idea of the Muppets.
He's not making fun of it at all.
No. Yeah, it wasn't like somebody gets handed a franchise. They're like, oh, well, I always hated that, so I'm going to totally redo it. No. This is clearly a labor of love, and I think that in time, even Frank Oz will probably admit, oh, okay, yeah, it's all right.
Jason Segel is he's delightful.
Right, and
how do you not love Jason Segel?
Right, I love that he can make fun of himself. He's a big, goofy dude. But if you've seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall and seen the vampire puppet musical that he does, you know he has great reverence for this art form. He takes it very, very seriously. So when I heard he was doing this, I thought, oh, of course, it makes total sense. He'd be in love with the Muppets and want to do a great movie about them.
And you've got Brett McKenzie from Flight of the Conchords writing the songs, and a guy who directed a lot of the Conchords episodes, directing the film, and so it has that sort of kind of loosely goofy feel, and the songs are really effective, and you're right. It's not in any way ironic. It is a let's stand out in the middle of the street and do a big musical number or movie, but it works on that level, and I think it would be great to see more of that in kids' movies and less that sort of lazy Shrek-style cynicism that's crept in.
Really good cameos in it. They were well written. They weren't merely satisfied to have stars make cameos. They had to be written carefully, and I thought done well. Jim Parsons, that little
Don't give
moment.
it away.
Not giving it away. I'm just saying his moment.
It's very funny.
His moment is really
But
great.
then there's also like random celebrities who just show up, like James Carville. And that's kind of funny too. But all the Jack Black stuff is funny. The Rashida Jones stuff is funny. Rapping Chris Cooper.
Yes, there were.
That was my least. That was my least favorite, the rapping Chris Cooper.
Why? Because it's just too awkward.
It felt a little Tropic Thunder, and it felt silly. I love Chris Cooper in the movie. I just didn't love that one.
There were maybe a few laggy bits towards the end.
As are in building toward the show, you mean?
When in the home stretch, we're kind of like, okay, but few and far between and brief, and not enough to really keep me from just loving this movie.
Okay.
So.
What'd you give it?
I give it a 9.
I'm giving it an 8 because of the laggy bits.
All right. That's why I gave it a 9. But hey.
I've given it an 8 because of the laggy bits.
Otherwise, it was perfect.
I gave it an 8.5, not to make the math easy, but because I thought that's appropriate. It delivers exactly what you want. You can take your kids, or you can go with a girl, or you can go by yourself, or you can be a girl, or you can do whatever.
Yeah, I think kids now will like it. It's not in 3D or Lego animation, but kids now I think will like it.
And frankly, if you're a parent and you haven't already exposed your kids to the Muppet Show, you're doing it wrong.
Wow,
so
I'm a bad mom then.
Well, the kid's young. It's
we do
right.
Sesame Street at my house,
that's
so close
perfect,
enough.
Perfect for
close
that
enough,
age. Older kids.
We're gonna wrap this up, but that last point you make is a good one. You are a bad mom.
Thank you so much. I never suspected that. All right, I have no idea what camera we're on.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.